Hi, everyone. From the Boston Fleet, we have head coach Kris Sparre. Just to open things up, Kris, overall thoughts on the game tonight?
Yeah, it was, it's a great environment, obviously. I think, our team is obviously really excited about this game in the moment. And, it's unfortunate that we're not able to get the win here tonight, but so many positives. I mean, when you look at what we were able to do, sell at the TD Garden in Boston, this one's bigger than just a hockey game, and really proud of our group and everything that we've accomplished so far this year. And to be able to sell at the Garden, it's a great thing to see.
We'll open the floor to questions.
Emma.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
How do you hope a game like this prepares your players for the playoffs? What do you hope they take from this?
Well, I think there's so much surrounding a game like this. Like, you just think about I know for me, myself, I think I had 12 people at the game tonight. That's managing tickets. That's people in town that aren't typically here in Boston, and going out for dinner the night before and making sure that they're all set for the game. And so I think that there's a lot of things that players are trying to manage when you have a big game like tonight. And I think that being able to take this stage and whatever we learned from it, whether it was settling down the nerves early in the game, because the stakes are only going to get higher moving forward. And I think that this is a real good opportunity for us to embrace the moment, but also learn from it.
Hey, Coach. Yesterday we talked about the importance of your special teams. What did you think about the chances that there was tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to see us create a lot more chances on our power play for sure. I think we had 4 in the game, and when you're playing a tight checking team like Montreal, in a real tight game, I think the shots ended up being somewhere in the early 20s. It's like there's not a lot of opportunities going back and forth, and so when you get special teams, you got to capitalize. And when you get 4 of them, you got to find a way to generate a little bit more. And I think that's something that we're going to dive into this week and see if we can, spark those two groups a little bit.
Coach, I'm not sure if you saw on the Jumbotron, but there were a few signs out there, actually a lot of signs out there tonight that were saying that the Boston Fleet should make TD its home arena. And so I'm curious, what was the biggest difference that you noticed in the crowd between Lowell and Leganis and what it was like to play here tonight?
Well, this is a big deal. Like, you're standing on that bench and there's 17,000 people. They had the lights going in the first little bit of the game. It's so loud. The sound system in here is incredible. It's a really, really great venue, and we're lucky to play at Songus, and the games we've played at Aganis too. Both of those buildings rock, but this one's 3 times the size, so you certainly feel that when you're down on the bench, and I think our players did too. Yep.
Speaking of the offense struggling a little bit tonight, struggling to get shots through the net, was it something Montreal was doing defensively, or do you think it was more of a mental thing on your part?
I think Montreal did a great job defensively tonight for sure. They're a stingy team. They play a stingy style of game. For us, I think that we had a hard time completing a lot of those little 5-foot plays that we typically do, and which you need to do in order to score goals and create high danger scoring chances. I think we struggled a little bit tonight, whether it was nerves or not. But I just think that you need to be able to connect a few more plays in order to score. And credit to Montreal, they made it hard on us. Emma.
You touched on this a little bit, but what do you hope the Fleet's future is in this building?
Oh, in this building?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty. I mean, if all of our home games looked like tonight, that'd be awesome. It's. I'd love to see us play more games here for sure. It's a wonderful venue. It's in a great part of the city. I think the fans really brought it tonight, and if we had opportunity to play here more, we'd certainly welcome that.
To kind of bounce off that question, so coming into this game, a lot of what people were talking about was the fact that this was taking place at TD Garden, and with MSG last week, there's been a lot of talk about attendance. So I'm curious, as a coach in women's sports, what do you think the balance is between talking about things like attendance and the quote-unquote support versus the actual game itself?
The balance? Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
So a lot of the time we've seen in women's sports, there's a talk about like the attendance numbers and who's coming out to support women's sports rather than the actual game itself, the actual strategy. And so as a coach, what kind of balance do you want to see moving forward as that starts to become the norm more and more?
Well, I think in any professional sporting event, the goal is to sell it out. And I think that, you certainly obviously saw that here tonight. There's, I think it's great to see. I think we're happy to, obviously have that here tonight. And, I'm not sure what you mean by balance, but I think it was nice to see that.
Hi. What does playing in a venue like TD Garden say about the growth of the PWHL?
Playing at TD Garden was super special tonight for our league, especially having a sold-out building. And, the first time all of us have played in this building was pretty special. And I think we've all felt it after the Olympics, the buzz around women's hockey and around our league and every venue we're going into. It's loud and the seats are filled and the fans are passionate. So it's an exciting time for us.
A little redundant, but just being here, seeing the young girls with the signs, the older women who never thought they'd get to see, women's sports celebrated like this. How much does a night like tonight remind you that what you're doing is bigger than just hockey?
Yeah, it's incredible. I think when you have the moment to look up and look in the stands and see all of the people there to support us and to support this league, it's been a long time coming, and selling out this place is a huge accomplishment for women's sports and women's hockey. And I think seeing the impact that we have on the young girls, like you said, is a really special thing.
Kind of redundant, but I'm with you, Think, and we only focus on the next generation of hockey players. What do you think young players can learn from the game tonight and just the entire PWHL as a whole?
They have something to look forward to when they're our age. When we were growing up, we were dreaming of playing in the NHL, and tonight I think they saw that they can play in a professional hockey league and they can sell out buildings that the men play in.
Looking at the postseason and just a few games and just a few weeks, what is it from tonight that you guys are going to take? Because obviously you're going to be facing competitive matchups like tonight.
I think we strive to get better and better every single game. Honestly, regardless of the outcome, win or lose, our coaching staff's always finding ways to get better, and we know it's going to be a hard stretch. Playoffs are always hard. It's really fun hockey, so just having a few takeaways from tonight and then moving forward.
Megan, obviously every time play Montreal, it's a tight game, but do you think a game on this venue kind of heightened that rivalry a little bit tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, one of the biggest stages we've played on as a group, and it's no secret we have a rivalry with them. It gets physical out there. We see them a lot and saw them in playoffs in year one, and we're at the top right now, kind of battling for home ice here in playoffs. So yeah, definitely a little bit. I mean, we wanted to come out and, give the fans a game and give them some action and get them involved. And unfortunately, we didn't get any in the back of the net tonight. But yeah, I think we'll see them a few more times before this season's over.
Megan, for you, sorry, Kris said this morning that, when you're looking forward to a game like this, you can't really get too much in your head about it. You can't make it bigger than it is, I guess. Do you think that nerves or anything like that might have contributed to sort of the slower start and taking more penalties than you guys usually would as a team?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I think there's definitely some nerves. I mean, when you're playing in front of 18,000 people and in front of your home city. Like we want to show up for them. And so, yeah, it took a little bit to get going. And sometimes hockey, it's just one of those games where puck's bouncing everywhere. It was kind of chaotic game, and, reffing is out of our control. And, there's going to be calls that we're not going to like and that they won't like either. And so just managing that, every game is different. And I thought there was a lot of chaos tonight, and that's just how it was. And as a group, just managing that down the line here, especially heading into playoffs, just focusing on each shift and what we can do and bring as a group.
Aerin, you and Renee are arguably the top 2 goaltenders in the league. You face each other internationally and in this league. Do you push each other? How much respect is there between the two of you across the ice?
Yeah, personally, I have a lot of respect for her, as I do a lot of the other amazing goalies in our league. I think goaltending is such a strong category in this league because there's not that many teams and there's so many good goalies. So it's really fun when you go up against someone like Anne. It's always a battle back and forth, obviously at the Olympics too. And you got to play your best game against one another. So I think it's fun, exciting, and I think it just feeds into the rivalry.
For both of you, what was going through your head when you heard the ovation when your names were announced during pregame intros?
Well, I thought Aaron's cheer was so loud. I knew it was coming. I looked over at Winnie. I go, listen to this one. Yeah, it's just special. We dream of playing in buildings like this, and especially in front of our fans. So, it's an honor for us to be a part of this city, and to hear them cheer like that was pretty special.
Yeah, not a whole lot to add to that. Chills hearing my name called and the fans responding that way. I think we received so much love and support from them, and again here tonight. So we're going to keep going and look forward to playing in front of them a few more times this year.
Hi, in the back here, Laura Everett with Boston Women's Sports. So one of my colleagues earlier asked a similar question to Coach. I'm going to ask it in a slightly different way. Obviously, this was a historic game. But I wonder, for you all, how much do you want to talk about the history and the vibes of being at a sellout and the history-making piece? And how much do you want to talk about game strategy?
Yeah, well, for us, this is the first professional women's hockey game that's been played here. So it is historic, and it's a big moment. And I think for us, looking down the line, hopefully it's not the last. And that's when you can focus on, hockey. I think for right now, obviously, we enjoyed the opportunity of getting the chance to play in the heart of Boston and in front of our passionate fans. And, hopefully it's not the last time that we're here.
Not to ask a hockey question now after that answer, but wanted to follow up on something you said earlier, talking about sort of the chaos that was going on out there. What was Montreal doing that might have caused that, or what do you think fueled the chaos on the ice a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think it was anything they were really doing. It's just, sometimes games get physical. There's missed calls here and there that you think, and, you get sort of involved in that side of the game, and you just have to keep your composure, can't focus on those sorts of things. And so looking ahead, we know anytime we face teams, especially in playoffs, it's gonna be a bloodbath, it's gonna be a battle, and you just have to fight through things.
Heading into tonight, your offense had been rolling. I think it was 13 goals across the past 3 games, and then tonight it just seemed to be a struggle to get pucks through the net. What kind of do you attribute that to the most? Was it something Montreal was doing, or do you think it might have been internal?
Yeah, we had some chances. We had a bunch of power plays. We weren't able to really get anything going, capitalize there. Had some 2-on-1s, some breakaways, and, unfortunately pucks were hitting sticks, hitting skates. We weren't getting passes through, and, sometimes they just don't go in. And so lucky for us, it's one game, and we're going to see them a few more times.
With so few games left in the season before the postseason does start, what are you hoping the offense can change to get back to what it was a few games ago?
Yeah, honestly, like not much. Like 2 games ago, you said like we were putting 5 goals in, so I think we're all right. Like I think just getting back to it and like sticking with it. Sometimes you're not going to get them to go in, and you have to stay the course. Like we may win a 1-goal game down the line, we may win 5-0 or whatever, but I think just taking what each game brings, and at the end of the road and down the line here, you have to find a way to win, and any means necessary.